gonna be easy peasy hand stitch. Bag is born. That's the idea. Welcome back to the fashion rack. Gonna make something super simple today. But we're still tired from the last time. Not that long ago I was on this wonderful thing. It's called the internet. And I got a lot of ads from this not to be disclosed company, fashion giant that's taking over the ultra fast fashion industry.
You know, the very unproblematic one. The one that invited a group of influencers on a very trustworthy trip to show that their sweatshop workers aren't sweating at all.
We were the ones sweating walking through the whole facility.
Wow.
Okay, let's just call it out. It was
Qian.
And they had a lot of bags, handbags. And I was like, those look like bathmat. I have to work in 1.5 hours. Let's begin.
So if you want to learn how to make a bag without sewing machine, this one's for you.
So last week we used a cotton thread for the sashiko trouser. Sashiko. Constantly says shashiko. However, I don't know if you saw my update on the short video, but cotton thread it was really damaged already after 1 week of wearing this pant. So I'm gonna play it safe for this bag. We're not gonna use a cotton thread. We're gonna use this polyester thread. What I like to do is like a pull test. You know, I'm really strong, obviously, but if you can put some significant force on it before it breaking, you'll really be good. Boucle texture somehow fits the bag perfectly. Not sure if it's really practical.
Practical enters the door, fashion and usage.
Some of you may not be aware that the blanket stitch was originally used in blankets.
Oh my god!
It is this sort of reinforcing stitch around the edge that is both functional and decorative and gives everything that has a nostalgic vibe. And the idea with this one, and that is in the best case scenario, is that you have the stitches the same width apart, more or less, and that the distance from the edge of the fabric is the same every time.
I'm gonna take my bathmat and surprise, inside on the inside, fold it. Maybe I even find a clip. How do I know there's a clip on my floor? Because it's been there for a week. Maybe handy to put the outside. I mean, guys, we're almost finished. Look, it's a bag. Take my needle and thread. Not the ends together.
Promise back to the basics. So here we go. If you never hold a needle and thread in your life, no shame. No shame at all. Here's how you knot a knot.
Super savvy, super
You wrap the end of the thread around your finger, in this case both ends. Then you roll it off your finger so that you can pull the end through and voila. The knot is knot. La nota sta la nota. The knot is knot. And for a double knot, can you do a wild guess? Yes. You repeat the first steps.
So that you have a double yarn. You might want to try out your needle first, which I already did. See if it glides through the fabric. I have this needle. It has a big enough eye. Triangular. I really don't know why. Glides like jelly and peanut butter. Double knot. Really huge, but it's okay.
Because we are making the knot magically disappear by hiding it in between the two layers. I'm gonna start sewing at the bottom where the bathmat is folded. So I'm aware it's gonna be a little hard to see with this kind of Cookie Monster spaghetti that we're working with. However, bear with me, it's not that hard. Once you have the knot in between and are sure it's big enough so that you're not gonna pull it through, I'm gonna go around the edges of the fabric and then come out of the same hole again. Fashion Wreckers, congratulations, we have a stitch. Next, we're gonna travel, and not just anywhere, but along the fabric edge. Therefore, I'm gonna go through the loop that I just created, which for this reason isn't tightened that tight yet, to make our second stitch, each time coming from the same direction, so going from back side to the front side. If you can, I would make your stitches 1 centimeter apart, but my reality, the harsh truth, was that, the spaghetti was spaghettiing.
A really textured edge.
And I had to make my stitches a little, read quite significantly bigger. And okay, I'll tell you the secret now, before it's gonna come out and I'll be cancelled and whatnot. I was not really actually technically officially doing a blanket stitch. There it is. Afterwards, I discovered I was doing it a little differently. I was going in another time into the same hole like the first stitch, to then get my needle through both loops that I created, to travel to the next stitch, which apparently isn't something you really do according to the blanket stitch etiquette. So technically you wouldn't have to go in one more time and create this extra loop. What else can I say than that I was young, unbothered, unusually sexy. Oh wait, what was I? Oh yeah, unknowing, if you will. In fact, I think this is actually clever to do because it made the bag even stronger. So this image actually shows exactly how a normal blanket stitch is done if you want to do that one. You can straight away hook your needle behind the loop so you have one movement basically.
since this is really not gonna be only a finishing, but also actual constructive seam, I'm gonna make sure it's quite tight. If you cannot really easily enter the hole of the needle, take your yarn around it so that you have a little tight loop. Then sometimes it is easier. Pull your yarn through. Works.
And then when you come at the end, finish with a normal stitch. Then pull your yarn towards the inside of the bag. Make a knot around the stitch that we have. Then pick up a tiny bit of fabric from the bathmat. Go through the loop to make a knot again. And I just do that a couple of times. So it's really attached very securely. And the knot, where's the knot?
Well. Guys, I just paid like $25 for a little bit of band. 2 buckles, not 1, 2 whole buckles. Can you imagine? I could have like bought 5 bags at this not to be disclosed store. Sewing is like the new golf. It's only for the elite nowadays. However, let's not think about that for too long. Just continue.
If you can sew, you can also make your own band, of course. However, because this is a no sewing bag tutorial, I'm not going into that here. But you can check out my baguette bag tutorial for some inspiration. So to make this a super practical bag, I'm gonna add short handles and a long handle that you can hang over the shoulder. If that is too much to handle, just pick either one. Just gonna hold it against the bag and guesstimate the length a little. Remember to add a little bit of length for seam allowance. I'm gonna glue down about 1 centimeter of seam allowance with some fabric glue. This will not only hold it easily in place for the hand sewing, but it will also prevent fraying. However, if you have a polyester band, which honestly might be even recommended for this project, you can also just melt the edges with a lighter and then use some fabric glue. Adding buckles is definitely optional, but I wanted to add them not only for functional readjustment purposes, but also to make the design a little more back and a little less bathmat, if you know what I mean. A little professional looking touch. So I'm gonna cut a little loop to attach them to the bag. So 1 for each side. So I'm gonna close the loops with some fabric glue.
And I have to lock it. Struggle is real. Maybe an hour was a little ambitious. We're doing home office. We're doing bags. This is how easy it is. We multitask. Don't tell my boss.
So I'm gonna close the loop so that one side is really folded over the other. This way it's gonna look pretty nicely finished. When it's dried, I'm gonna place it in the corner of the bag with my clip. To attach them, I also took my acrylic yarn. However, pulling them through the canvas band, it was, to say it politely, fucking annoying. So I'd say you can use normal, extra strong sewing thread here as well. Maybe take it double if you want to be double secure. I'm gonna try to hide my knot again under the canvas band. Starting by anchoring down my thread really well into the bathmat, leaving a loop to go through to make a knot, and do that a couple of times. Yes, I needed some heavy tools to pull. I told you it was annoying. And because you better prepare for the worst, I want to be able to carry some heavy stuff like groceries, all my money, corpses. I've learned to never say never. I'm just gonna tighten it extremely well by picking up some fabric of the mat, picking a little bit up of the canvas band, and then going through the loop to create a knot for the entire seam. Knotting off very well, preferably on the back side where you can't see it, because you never know, it might be a crazy day. You'd have to carry 2 corpses, for example. I make a second row of stitches right at the fabric edge, trying to hide it sort of in between the bathmat and the band, but did not entirely succeed. Then I thought I was done with this one, but it didn't really make sense that the other side of the bag was not attached to the loop as well. Here we go, another row of hand stitches. Well, that looks fan-buckle-tastic. Then I'm gonna stitch the short handles against the bag, basically the exact same way. And if you're a perfectionist like me, who always does everything perfect like the first time around, you might want to measure out that it's exactly in the middle. Bathmat, or shall I say bag, does have this sort of rim, so I'm gonna try to line up my handles with the rim to make it look a little more thought out. Then I'm gonna hand stitch again in the same way as before, right at the edge. With a thin needle and thread, it goes a lot quicker. However, do not not confuse the word quicker with the word quick. It still took a significant amount of time. Read forever. When I get to the end of this row, I'm just diving underneath the band to the edge of the bathmat to do my second row of stitches. Going in the opposite direction now. Don't forget to anchor down the thread well though, even though you didn't cut it off in between. It's all about better safe than sorry. Again, with an attempt to hide them sort of in between the edge, or at least make the stitches so small that they're not gonna be really ugly and visible. And if the thread breaks, told you I was strong, you basically just start all over again at the beginning of the row. Then I hang my shoulder strap through the buckles, preferably a bit long so that we have something to readjust later. Finish the edges super simple by gluing them 2 times around, so that the strap won't flap. I'm also gonna use this canvas band to make a loop around it. Really best to also fixate these things with some hand stitches. If we have the time, maybe. Did we have the motivation? Next question. Was this one bridge too far, or do you like the back? Also, leave a like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more, leave comments for the algorithm, or just say hi or bye. Or check out my bags playlist, and thank you to my Patreon. And support me everywhere you can. Love me like no other. Is that too much to ask? Huh? Okay. I'll show you the bag.